Okay, so as I told you, the page source, it remains the same across all the browsers, right? Okay, so now if I have to identify the objects, okay, right, and uh, what do we do, right? Look, as I told you, hold on, I'll take a simple example. Okay, right. I'll actually take a very simple example. Let us open the website for Gmail homepage. Right, right. If you go to the Gmail homepage, you will have this login ID button, everything, right? And suppose you have to log in into this website. So obviously I have written the code over here wherein I am able to go to the Gmail and print the title. After that I have to say login. So I have to identify the objects over here. If I look at this text field, this is an input tag and it's having an ID. Okay, right. It's having an ID, and if I observe this, hold on, where is this page? Right. If I write the code over here, driver dot, you will get a function known as find element. This will go and find an element on the page, find an object on the page based on certain criteria. Now, that criteria is important. Okay, that is why I made this Excel file for you. This Excel file will help you identify the criteria, right? That criteria is specified by a class. Hold on, let me open the documentation. Hold on. Right, let me open the documentation of Selenium. Go to Java docs, right, and over here you will see that in the WebDriver interface you will have a function known as find element. Okay, right. So out here, if you look at the functions of the web element interface, this is a find. Look, I'm going a little slow because somebody was telling me that the screen is changing at a very faster rate than the voice, so I'm going a little slow. Look, find element function is a function which will find the first web element giving the method. Right. Now find element function returns you a reference of a web element. Right. Fine. And this web element is a interface in Selenium itself. It's an interface which represents a basic operation, right, which represents the basic operations on the web page. Fine. So basic operations in the sense click, clear a text field, click on something, get the location of an element. Okay, so web element is basically a generic HTML element on the page. So on this website gmail.com, if I have to type into this text field, right, this text field is also a web element. Okay, right, and this web element can be found with the function of, I'll write over here, web element email equals to, can be found by writing the function driver.findElement. And driver.findElement will return you the reference of web element. Okay, right. So now, hold on just a minute, this PC, just hold on. Right, yeah, it's fine now. So find element function, how do you find the element? You have to find it with a certain criteria. Okay, the find element function accepts the argument as by. The by class is inbuilt inside Selenium, and it's got various types of criterias: by the ID, by the link text, by the name, by the XPath. We'll talk about everything. If you have an ID of an element, that is the best thing. Out here, the email ID field has got an ID as email. It's the best thing if an element has got an ID or the name. Gmail guys, they are very smart. They have given ID to this element as well as name. Generally, ID and name, they are unique. Okay, so you can write over here by dot, everything in the by class is static. You can write by the ID email. So this will give you the reference of the web element email. And what you can do is that you can write email dot send keys function. Okay, if you look at the documentation, right, in web element, right, the send keys function is used to simulate typing into an element. Look, you don't have to go to and fro into the documentation. You can import the documentation into Eclipse as well. Right, I'll show you how to do it. Just give me 1 minute. Let us import the documentation into Eclipse. Right, when you click on the Java doc link, the link which opens, right, copy the link. Fine. Go to Eclipse, right click on the project, go to the properties of the project, go to Java build path and go to the main Selenium jar file. Expand it, and in the Java doc location, right, paste the path of index.html. Right, fine. So right, and remove the index.html from the end. That's it. I'm recording this session. You can look at the recorded session as well. Okay, right. Right, I'll again repeat. You go to the location, hold on, you go to open Eclipse, right click on day 2, go to the properties, right, go to the path of Java build path and go to the main Selenium jar file. Okay, go to the Java docs under this jar file and paste this path. I will give you the path on the chat as well. Okay, right. And now if you move your mouse, say if I move my mouse over WebDriver, you will get the description of WebDriver. If I write driver dot, you will get all the functions in there, and if you click on the function, you will get the description of what that function does as well from the documentation. In case of a web element, if I am writing email dot, you will get all the functions and their descriptions. The send keys function simulates the typing into the element. Okay, so if you write email dot send keys hello, right, and if you run this program, so this will find the email field and type in hello inside it. Right, okay, Fine, you see that? Look, I analyzed the object on Mozilla and I ran this code on Chrome, and it's running successfully because the object will remain same. If I identify the object, this email ID field in Chrome, the ID will remain same. Object in the page source never differs. Okay? Right. Similarly, if I have to, suppose after writing this, if I have to click on the next button, the ID of the next button, this is the ID next, and next button also has got a name by the name sign in. So I can write over here driver dot find element by the name sign in dot send keys. Oh no, sorry, dot click. You click on the button, or hold on, you write over here web element button equals to this, right? And you simply write button dot click. So with this web element, right, so with this button, if you have to if with this web element, right, if you can do many things. If you want to get the x and y coordinates of this button, you can do that. Button dot, you can write get location function dot x will give you the x coordinate, dot y will give you the y coordinates. So you can print the x and y coordinates as well. So when you look, coordinates, you don't get them, okay, in normal operations of a web application. But if you're using a tool like Appium, which is mobile based tool, it is used to automate mobile applications, it's built on Selenium. Over there we use the coordinates and all a lot, because in mobile there are a lot of swiping, scrolling functions and all. So but not in Selenium, we don't use it that much. Okay, so when I run it, you will see that it says that Google doesn't recognize the email. So fine, that's fine, that's great. Okay, so and it's giving you the x and y coordinate of the button as well. So a web element, it can do lot of things. Apart from clicking, typing, there are many other functions also available with the web element. So everything on the page is a web element. Right. Okay, so everything in a page is a web element. Fine. And on that web element you can fire various functions. Now what if, like I have used ID over here, email. We had a very simple application, one text field had the ID email. What if there are multiple components on the page with the same ID or with the same name? I am assuming ID is same. Okay, look, when Selenium starts to scan the page, it scans the page like this, from top to bottom, left to right. So if there are two elements on the page with the same ID, one element is here, one element is here, one element is here. Suppose all these three elements have the same ID. So Selenium will pick up the first one. As soon as it finds the first one, it will use it. Okay, right. I hope you understand my point. Okay, now how to get the second one or the third one, we will look at it later on when we see how to extract multiple components from the web page. But understand this point, um, that you will actually have to be very careful, because at times developers, they do the mistake. I've seen it practically. They give the IDs or they give the same names to different objects. Okay, right? So you have to be a little careful. Fine. So now you will have to you will be getting the first element. Fine. So what if multiple elements have the same ID? Okay, you will get the first one. Now there is something known as class attribute. Okay, what do you mean by class? Look, ID and name attributes, they are supposed to be unique. Fine, but class, don't ever rely on class. Class, it is not unique. Generally elements with the same look and feel have the same class. For example, if I go to this website, okay, and if I go to the shopping section, right, if I go to the shopping section of this website, over here in this shopping section, you will find that there are buy now buttons. Okay, right, and if I analyze these buy now buttons with Firebug, just a minute, yeah, all the buy now buttons will have the same class. Generally what happens is that elements which have the same look and feel, okay, elements which have the same look and feel have the same class. So class is never unique. Don't fall under that particular thing that the class will never be unique. If you have to extract all the buy now buttons on this page, and if you actually hold on, yeah, if you actually have to count the total number of buy now buttons and validate that how many buy now buttons are there, then you can extract all the buy now buttons with the help of the class. Right? Okay, fine. So it doesn't mean that if this class is same for all the buttons or all the elements on the page, it's bad. At times you have the requirement to extract the objects in bulk from the website. Okay, it's used at that time. Fine. So anybody of you having any questions till now? I didn't ask that. Anybody having any questions? Please feel free to ask questions. You can also interrupt me in between. Anybody with any questions? Anything? Okay, right. Um, Fine. Okay, there's a question being asked which is not related to this. It is that can I use Selenium in my Agile project? Look, automation is not used during the development phase. Look, how did automation come into the play in the market? Right. How did automation come in the play in the market? Look, earlier what used to happen was people used to have test cases and all, and every week they had to test the application on a very minor change as well. They had to test their application, the complete thing, right? And what used to happen was that they we used to end up wasting a lot of time. In those scenarios, automation came into the picture. Look, what happens is, hold on, this is a very good question. There's a graph. There's a graph something like this. Okay, the y coordinate you can call it as stability, right, and the x coordinate you can call it as time. What happens is that if you have a web based application or any application, Windows based, web based, mobile based, right, initially the stability of that application is very low, and beyond, as you proceed with time, the stability of the application increases, right? Okay, and you should not use automation when the application is unstable, because if you take manually, if you have a scenario, if you want to test that scenario manually, it might take you 5 minutes, but to make a proper script for that scenario, it might take you 5 hours. And if the application is not stable, to change it regularly every day or every week, it requires a lot of efforts, and it's a problem. So we have to decide a benchmark in the project somewhere over here, that beyond this I am ready for automation in my particular project. Okay, right. And also, when you write your automation script, when you make a framework, when you have automated all the test cases and all, at that time the script is also unstable. With time the script becomes stable, like this. Immediately stabilization of script is faster. Okay, because if you have coded the script, if you have written the code which will actually go to some website and do the testing for you, that code might also break at times. So the automation script also takes time to get stable. So projects which are under development, especially in agile methodology and all, it is not recommended to use automation testing. Alright, automation testing, the very essence, it came in the market for those projects way back in early 2000s or something. It came in the market for projects which are unstable, which are stable enough. Okay, right. This is this diagram you will not find anywhere. This is just something which I have drawn from my experience. Okay, just sharing with you because somebody had asked the question. Fine. Okay, there is a question being asked. We have got web element as the return type of file, then we use the element.getLocation. So getLocation is a function, then what is x and y? Look, getLocation, if I tell you in depth, then getLocation function returns you the object of point class inside Selenium. Oh, what is happening? Just a minute. My keyboard, it just went for a toss. I am sorry. Just a minute. Hold on. Something happened to my keyboard. Okay. If I write, say, driver dot this email ID field dot get location. Get location function returns you the object of the inbuilt class point. You can write like this, point p equals to this. And if you have to get x and y coordinates, you can write p dot x or p dot y. Okay, right. So instead of writing this like this, I can also write it in one line. Okay, sorry. I can write like, you import the point class from org.openqa.selenium. You can write it in one line, that email.getLocation.x. Similarly, you write web element email equals to this and email.send key is hello. So you can write directly that driver dot find element by the email ID field dot send keys hello. The execution starts from the left hand side. First this is evaluated and inside it the hello is fired. Fine. Okay. Point class doesn't implement the web element interface. It is some other classes do, right? Don't go in that depth right now. Okay, right. So, right. Anybody having any other questions? Anybody having any other question? Right. Yeah. Yes. Look, constructor, I have marked it in red deliberately. I will cover it when I will cover the concept of Firefox profiling over here, because that will be used in Firefox profiling. Okay, right. Now, yeah. Okay, so point class, when you write email.getLocation, this function returns you the object of point class. It is an internal class in Selenium. Okay. Look, if you look at the documentation and if you click on any of the links over here, the documentation will open in Eclipse itself. Right. You can go to the frames section and in this you will find the point class. Everything.